Hey there, YouTube fans, AC Productions here, and today I'm going to be showing you on how to remove your gas tank cover and replace it with a totally different style of gas cover. And the gas cover that I chose for my R3, as you guessed it, it's going to be an R1 replica. So as you can see, here it is. I waited a few months for it to finally arrive, but it's already here, and it's going to go great with my new headlight style that I have, as you can see from the previous installation video I did on how to do the R1 replica headlights. So this tank will be a great addition to my, R1 kind of model of the bike. I'll have a link in the description below on where I purchased this one from. And I also have a link in the description below on a few style of gas tank. This one will be the R1 style, and then there's another one which will be a replica of the R6. Alright, so let me give you a little in-depth detail on how this one is. Alright, so first things first, if you're wondering what type of material this cover is, I thought when I was going to get it, it was going to be out of plastic, but actually it's made out of fiberglass. And those are a few drawbacks. It's not perfect, as you can see from the ventilated holes here. They are see-through. I was thinking that they were not going to be see-through, but they are see-through. They could use a little bit of work. As you can see, they're not, cut out very straight, or not even proportioned either, or symmetrical, or however you want to call it. A little bit crooked on this one, but I think with a little bit of filing with a sanding tool, probably could get these a little bit more smoother. Also, you could pick the color of the tank cover that you want. Obviously my bike's red, so I got red, but they also have blue, black, and I think that's about it. If you want any other custom colors, you may want to email them about that, or if not, I would suggest just getting black, and then therefore you could just custom paint whatever color you want on it. The logo is like a sticker. As you can see, it's a flat logo, not like the original where it's more of a 3D style of the logo. So this one's just like a sticker. Overall, I would say the design is really cool. It pretty much just matches the R1 style, and the tank over here, I would say it's a lot lower profile and more wider. And then when we go to the back, the only minus I had on this one is, well, a few minuses, or it could be just that the way they did it, I don't know. It was cracked during shipment, as you could see. There's a crack from here to over here. So I would say it's pretty much almost half my finger on the crack wise. And over, and I think that's pretty much about it. Other than that, it's just the minor stuff, which is just the way that they made these holes. So on the other side, and then over here, you could see that they kind of just made their own kind of loops. So I'm really hoping that this would actually fit on our R3 without too much problems. But as I can see over here, this kind of part is like a little bit like pointed in the narrow department. So hopefully I could put it on there without breaking it. So on the other side of it, this is how the underneath of it looks like. So it just pretty much looks like a lot of patchwork in here or something. Like a lot of bandages with the fiberglass material. Okay. So that's pretty much how it looks like in the inside. And it looks like when you ask for whatever color paint you want them to paint it, it looks like that they freshly paint it before they ship it out to you. Because when I opened the package to see the tank, it smelled like fresh paint. So it could be that they just paint it and then they wait for it to dry and then they package it up and ship it. All right, guys. So let's get to it. Let's get started on installing this tank cover. Before I forget, I'll also have in the description below, since this is a different style of tank cover, I'm going to have the front tank pad cover that would go here, or not cover, the front tank pad that would go over here. I'll have a link in the description below. Also the side pads for your knees or whatever your legs to go on. So since the ones I have on my bike currently, as you could see right here, is the snakeskin style that I had bought, and it's just that little piece right over here and a little piece right on both sides, which honestly, guys, after installing that helped really well on leaning the bike a little bit more, because you're able to hug the tank a little bit more as you're leaning the bike. So that kind of gripping with the bike, it boosts your confidence on leaning the bike a little bit better, instead of kind of slipping on this area with your leg. So like I said, I'll have a link in the description below for these style of pads, but for this style of tank cover. Alright, so let's get started with the tools that you're going to need to use to install this tank cover and remove your old tank cover. Okay, tools needed for job is going to be your handle, 4mm Allen key, 5mm Allen key, your ratchet with an 8mm socket, and then if you have a shorty style Phillips screwdriver, that'll be needed. If not, if you have a bit that's a Phillips head, then you could use this instead. Okay, so to get to your tank area, first we're going to do is I'm just going to kind of explain everything all in one shot, and then just go ahead and remove those parts. So first we're going to use our Yamaha key to remove our back passenger seat. After we remove the back passenger seat, we're going to go ahead and remove this plastic piece here, and that's going to be with your 4mm screw or Allen key. So those two screws. Once you remove this, it's going to be your 8mm two screws for this your main driver seat. Once you remove that, next you're going to remove these two screws down here, which is with a 4mm your Allen key, which is going to be the screw here and this screw right over here. After removing that, and you want to make sure that you remove these panels on both sides, because we have to get to the two screws that are both on each side of the motorcycle. So once you get to that part and you remove that on both sides, next we're going to be removing this piece right over here, and it's going to be two screws here, also with the 4mm Allen key, and then don't forget the two small Phillips head screws that are on the inside over here on the inside part of that plastic piece. Okay, now that you've removed pretty much part of the bike there, next we're going to do is we're going to remove it'll be 5 screws. So just note what's on this side is the same thing on the other side. So it'll be this screw right over here and this screw over here with an 8mm socket. And then once you remove these two on this side and on the other side, there's going to be one center screw, which is going to be located right in here. You're not going to have this remote. This is for heated gear. Unless you did do my video on the heated gear department, then you're going to have to remove your little box. But if you didn't do that video, you are going to have a screw right here in this area here. So you want to go ahead and remove that. And with that screw, it's going to be a 5mm Allen key. So let's go ahead and remove all those screws. Okay, once you remove all those screws, you're going to notice that your tank cover is going to be kind of wiggly. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you wiggle the tank cover off of the main part of the gas tank pretty much. So just be careful on this, on pushing it up from the bottom. So they're pretty much just held in by, if you notice on your side triangle covers, it's pretty much the same concept with the tank. So these are plastic pieces that go into these rubber parts of your gas tank. It's pretty much the same concept on the tank. So the tank is held up, has these kind of posts underneath of it that goes into these rubber grommets on the tank itself. So just be mindful on that. Alright guys, after much wiggling it out, here it is. Here's those tabs that I was telling you that go into those rubber pieces, and these tabs over here correspond with these rubber pieces that are on top of the tank right here. So next what we're going to do is we are going to remove these rubber grommets out from our old tank, and we're going to install them in our new tank cover. So to remove these bottom ones, as you can see, it's just a metal collar, and as you can see on the other side it's like a spacer. So you want to just go ahead and push those in, and then from the other side grab the metal collar out. So they're pretty simple to remove. So if you have any difficulty, you could probably use a screwdriver or something to get a little bit of a little bit out, and then to grab it. So go ahead and pull that out, and then to take the rubber grommet, just squeeze the ends like that and then push it through. Or you could just probably push it with your thumb. If the rubber's still soft, you can just probably push it with your thumb. Kind of hard to do this with one hand, so I don't want to scratch I don't want to put it back on it there to scratch it. So see if I can do this for you guys. So just squeeze it and then pull it out, just like so. So you're gonna go ahead and put these pieces to the side. So like I said guys, so just remove this one, pretty much all the rubber pieces. Alright, now that I got both gas tank covers on the floor, I wanted to do a little comparison on each, that way you guys could see the differences. So as you can see, the stock one is over here on the left side, and the aftermarket R1 style one replicas on the right side. And as you can see on how wide it is on the aftermarket one compared to how pretty much narrow our stock one is. So I think with the aftermarket one is going to kind of give us more of the like an R6 feel on the gas tank area compared to a more peppier, upright style gas tank. Then here's a side-by-side look, and in person, to just let you know, as far as the color is concerned, the OEM color is just a tad bit darker red than the aftermarket red, but it's pretty much really close in comparison as color. So if anybody would really look, I guess it depends on the sunlight. If the sun hits it right, it might be just a tad bit off on the color, but other than that, it's I would say spot on, just a little bit lighter, not as dark as the original. I would say as far as height wise, I would say that they're even or even close as far as height, which I find it pretty odd because our OEM one is more upright and the aftermarket one is more kind of low and wide, but yet they are kind of similar in height. The aftermarket one may beat it just a little bit just because of this hump, but other than that, they're pretty much the same height. That's pretty weird, I would say. And then for the front, the only other difference would be that on the aftermarket, obviously it's a whole piece, a one-piece unit, compared to our OEM, which is a three-piece unit. And over here, it's wider on the OEM compared to the aftermarket. It's a little bit more narrow. It's not as wide as the OEM. And then obviously the design and also the logo. The logo on the aftermarket is a sticker compared to our OEM logo, which is a 3D plastic emblem. As you could see, it does stick out just a little bit, and you could feel that the emblem is 3D compared to this one just being a printed sticker, so it's just flat. And I would say that's pretty much it, and then obviously the styling and all that, but that's about it. So I wanted to just do a side-by-side comparison of OEM and aftermarket. So now next thing we're going to do before we actually install our cover onto our bike is that I want to kind of fix this, because it's kind of bothering me that they're not as clean cut as I thought they would be. But I am glad that there is a hole here, because if it wasn't a hole and it was just blacked out, I was definitely going to cut them out and make them into a hole, because if you have LEDs, or if you are planning to put some LEDs on your bike, you could check out my videos on how to install LEDs. Since this is an open area, you could actually install an LED strip in here and let some light come in through there, which I'm actually planning on doing, and I'll show you at the end of this video and how that looks like with the LEDs, which it will look pretty cool. Alright, so I'm gonna get a sander or a file, probably like I don't think I need anything too abrasive, so I'll probably go with like a nail file, something that you would use for your nails, and then just kind of get in there and kind of smoothen out these lines and edges, make it a little bit more nicer. Alright, so one more thing I wanted to show you guys before I actually sand down those holes with the file is that I noticed that on the aftermarket gas tank cover, it doesn't have this piece for a triangle back end piece to go into, but I think it should be okay because it's actually held on by 2 screws plus a little tab and the bottom part that has the thing at the bottom. So having the top I don't think should matter too much, but we'll see as soon as we install it, so we don't have to remove those rubber pieces, because on the new one there is none. All it has is this piece over here and this piece over here, which I think that's what that is, or I could be mistaken. Well, I'll soon find out, and then I'll let you guys know in a few seconds. Actually I think that is for this rubber piece, so I don't think it has this other screw hole for the tank, because I noticed that the distance over here from here is pretty wide, but on this one it's not so wide. So actually I'm thinking that there is a screw that's going to go here, and I think this is going to be for the triangle piece. So I don't think there's going to be another screw hole that goes for that one. And I've also started to notice a little bit more on the kind of the quality of this. It seems to be like a 2-level area. Let me zoom in so you guys can kind of see what I'm seeing here. So if you guys could see that looks like it's kind of coming off or something. I'm not sure. Oops, sounds like it cracked. And over here the paint's already kind of chipping, so I may have to get this repainted or something. You could see over here I just touched it and the paint chipped. So I will say the kind of quality is not to what I expected it to be. Like I said, I thought it was gonna be plastic like OEM, or at least I would think it'd be plastic, but it's made out of some kind of fiberglass. So I'm kind of wary now about this gas tank cover, but we'll see. And as far as that crack that I had over here, I'm going to glue it with some epoxy and hopefully that holds. If not, I may have to try to see if I could fiberglass it and repair it. But as far as right now, it looks okay until we put it onto the bike, and then we'll see for fitment. But as far as all this, I'm kind of I don't know, guys. It's just not what I expected, honestly. So I don't know. We'll see how it works out. If it works out great, awesome. And then later on, after riding a little bit with this cover, I will give another review on my bike on all the newer components that I've installed, and then let you know if the tank held up or if it fell apart. Like some other things, I won't give it away, but there's some stuff I did replace just because because it started falling apart. That'll be for a new upcoming video, so stay tuned for that. Alright guys, after doing a little bit of sanding with the nail filer, I found out that the clear coat on there must be really also another, I would say, con, is that the clear coat they put on here is very thin, because it was easily scratched. As I was filing, I just accidentally touched with the nail file, and it got scratched over here. So that's another con about this tank cover. Hopefully that's the end of the cons. Oh, speaking of con, I did find a crack right here. I'm guessing also probably materials or damage during shipping, even though it's pretty odd that this thing was packaged very well. It had a ton of newspaper inside the box, and plus this was wrapped up in a lot of foam, so I'm not sure on how the heck it got damaged there, but who knows. So that's pretty much about it for that. Minus that these holes that they made, as you could see, this one's a big square one and the other side is just a small little rectangle one. So I don't know who designed it, or if they even made it out of a mold, or I don't know. Alright, so let's get back to the installation. I'm still liking it, not so much like I was when I first saw the pictures, because in the pictures you could see it looks perfect. I mean, they have it in blue, red, gray, and black. So those are the colors you could choose from, and like I said, from the pictures it looks perfect. But in real life, as you can see guys, that's why I'm showing you the video, that it's not 100% perfect, but yet it's still enough for me to put it onto R3. So let's go ahead and do that, and let me show you what to do next. Alright, so we're gonna start putting the tank onto or the cover onto the tank. Now would be a good time to kind of clean your tank. As you can see, I already did that. It was very dusty. That's kind of weird, because I don't know how it could get dusty, but I'm guessing through the cracks of where the gas tank to fill up the gas is, it could probably get dusty through there, but that's just weird. Anyway, go ahead and dust it off, get all the dust off of there. It'd be a good idea to get it, but if you don't really care, you could just don't worry about it and don't even clean it. But for me, I like to keep things clean. So we're gonna go ahead and put our cover. If you guys want to install LEDs in here, I suggest, instead of putting it onto the tank, I already put the LEDs in here. As you can see, I put 2 strips. So what you want to do is you want to put 2 strips on the top part of where the lights are. So like, as you can see in here, I already got my 1 strip here, 1 strip here. These are 6-inch LED strips, multicolor. And when putting LEDs into this particular gas tank cover, you want to make sure that you clean the area with the isopropyl alcohol, and then use a 3M adhesive promoter. So once you do that, you should get a good bond on after you're removing the sticky tape on behind this to stick this on both sides. So it's on there pretty good, so I don't have to worry about that. And then for the cables, I'll probably just have it route through the back here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that, but pretty much the idea is just to have the cables through the back. Alright, so now let's go ahead and put the cover on. I think it might be a little tricky. That's just my thoughts. So let's go ahead and just see if it fits all over it like OEM. But by the looks of it, and from all the other components I've seen, since it's not like OEM, but we'll see. So in this part, you want to make sure that you take your time. It is fiberglass, so it may not give as much flex as the OEM plastic. On the OEM plastic, there's a lot more flex that you can do compared to fiberglass. You can only do fiberglass, you can only flex so much before it starts to crack. So I'm just gonna go ahead and see what I can do with this, and wish me luck. Hopefully it does not crack, because if it does crack, I'll still post a video for you guys to see, but I will not recommend to get this tank cover. But so far it looks pretty good. It's promising. The only thing is that on the gas tank itself, let me see if I can remove it so I can show you guys before I actually put it on here. So if you look at the gas tank, you could see that there's this metal lip, so that could pose a problem on this, because there's actually a lip on this plastic, or on this fiberglass piece. I may have to try to flex it, kind of go over that lip, and to finally seat it properly. So this lip actually goes around the whole entire tank, and I strongly suggest not to modify the tank. I was thinking about it, but after really thinking about it, I don't think it's a good idea to modify it. I was thinking of cutting it, but this is the gas tank. Definitely don't want to mess with that. So I'm definitely not going to actually cut or do any modification to the gas tank to make this fit. I don't think it's worth it. I'll just leave that as is, but I will try to make this fit, and let's see how it goes. So just be mindful on that lip, and trying to, flex this cover over that lip area. So far it's looking all right to on there. Just gotta maneuver it, move it up to make sure you also want to make sure that you have your for the screw that goes over here. Make sure it's properly lined up over there. So alright guys, it's a little tight in here. I'm gonna maneuver it and see if I can get it on there properly. If I come into any problems, I will notify you guys and let you know, and then and we'll take it from there. Alright guys, so far it's already in. Now what I had to do, and what you're gonna have to do so you don't flex the fiberglass too much. So what I did, I'm not gonna do it right now because it took me a while to get it in there, but I should have paused it. I actually should have, you know, showed you guys when I was doing it. Sorry. So when you have it kind of almost in there, you can access, it's already under now, but if you once you get it on there, stick your hand through this whole part all the way into like the bottom area, and then gently and kind of like a little bit like not too forcefully, but try to like push it out with your hand from the inside over that lip. So with pushing it from the, instead of like pulling it from the outside, which you can, you know, it's, you know, like I said, it's kind of light fiberglass, you could actually crack it very easily if you were to pull it from the outside, but from the inside you're able to push out the plastic, if that makes any sense, or push out the fiberglass just enough where it's not going to crack, not like the outside, which is much more easier to kind of pull it. All right guys, I figured I might as well just loosen up the tank cover, because I had to put that little rubber grommet over there in this little pocket anyway. So this is how it was looking like when I was installing it. So pretty much I had it up, as you know, up more, and I was able to stick my hand in here and then push the fiberglass out just a little bit to get it over the lip. Once you get it in there and seat it, and then just go ahead and start moving it around, make sure that this part where you're going to put your gas is lined up perfectly. So as you can see, it starts moving around left and right, but as soon as you kind of get it centered, go ahead and put that bolt over here in the front to kind of keep it centered. That way you could, you know, do your adjustments. All right guys, as I'm trying to put the bolts in, I'm actually coming to a problem where I cannot line up the hole that goes over there. See if I can get a better shot for you guys. Okay, even with that, okay, so as you can see, the hole curves right there. I don't know if you can see it pretty well. Alright, so I got my flashlight so you guys could see what I'm talking about. So as you could see, the hole kind of starts right there, and as you can see, the hole is way off. So what I'm going to do, and as over here I forgot to show you guys, I already got this part centered as best as I could, so right in there is perfect. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get a drill bit, and I'm actually going to drill where the hole should be. So as you can see, I'm going to drill where the hole should be. So it's not too far, I mean it's way off over here, but I'm going to try to do my best not to drill too much, but just pretty much right here. Alright guys, the drill bit that I used is the 1/4 size drill bit. Alright, so I already made the hole, as you can see, and you can see the threads in there, so that means I have it lined up pretty well on where the bolt's going to go. So I don't have to put that rubber piece on there because the hole is pretty much just big enough for the bolt anyway. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to put our bolt through it, and then we're going to go ahead and tighten that down. Okay, once you get it lined up over there, don't forget to put your bolt here. I'm going to start off with this side because this one lines up a little bit better than the other side. So until I figure out the other side, I'm going to go ahead and tighten out that bolt. Alright guys, after fighting on trying to get this bolt to actually line up, I was able to get it, but I wasn't able to tighten it all the way down, but as I got it to at least get a little bit of the screw in, so it's pretty much as tight as it's going to get. So the bolt's already in there, and it is already in on the other side, and so far I'm surprised it has not cracked with the amount of pressure it has right there. As you can see, I already put in the rubber piece on that side, and I also did it on the other side, and unfortunately this part is not going to be used, even though that's for the stock original where a bolt would have gone through. As you can see, this aftermarket one does not have it, just over here on both sides, and then over here on the top center bolt is the only parts where it's going to be actually bolted down. I mean, it looks on there, it doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere, so I think that's set. Now let's go ahead and put everything back. So everything's just pretty much the reverse order as you removed it. So let's go ahead and put everything back together. Alright guys, this is pretty much it. The bike is back together again. Now another problem I had came across, as you can see that this plastic is not all the way flush in, is because that part where this piece goes into, that rubber part, it's not lined up properly. So you can't really see it too much in here, but it's not lining up, therefore it's pushing this plastic out. But other than that, everything looks to be okay. I had no problems putting the seat back, and anything else, everything over here was okay. Another thing I've noticed over here on this part, as you could see that gap, normally on the regular OEM tank there would be no gap. That bottom part of the plastic would actually, or the bottom part of that tank would actually be flush with the top part of the bar, and on this one it's not. So those are another things to look at. And over here on the tank itself, there is kind of like a gap over here. Compared over here, it sits nice and flush, or you know, it sits pretty much on top of the gas tank itself. But as you could see, as it goes around over here, it starts to become a gap. So that's just, it's not really going to bother anything. The only thing it's going to allow is, as I'm riding, dust and stuff is just going to get in there, and if it rains, water's going to get in there, and that's about it. But I may put some sealant or something over here, or maybe like a clear sealant, so I could you know, keep that part and that area from water getting inside. So I may do that in the future, but not sure yet. Other than that, everything else is okay. I don't think I need to point out anything else. That's about it. So far it looks pretty good. I mean, can't complain too much, other than all those spots that I actually showed you. But like I said, maybe I may have gotten a defective cover. So hopefully, if you guys order this gas tank cover, it doesn't happen to you, that all those imperfections that I got, that it happens to you. So hopefully you guys get a better product than I did. But overall, I would say it looks pretty cool. I mean, pretty good. I know on the camera it doesn't really show the true color of the red. It kind of looks like a pinkish or something on the camera. I don't know why, but it just doesn't seem to really capture the color. But in real life, at a first glance, if you were to look at it, you can't even tell that it's a little bit off on the color, you know, just by the darkness, because on the OEM it's just a little bit more of a darker red than this bright red. Not really that bright, but more, doesn't have the darkness of the OEM red. So okay, so next I want to show you on how it looks like when you're on the bike. Alright, so at first glance, once you get on the bike, you're gonna notice a real difference. You're gonna feel like you're on an R6 instead of an R3, just because on how wide the gas tank is compared to the old one, which is more peppy, more upright compared to this one. So this one's definitely much more wider. I do feel like I'm on a bigger motorcycle than my R3, which actually feels pretty cool. I like it, you know. So I get it in the center there. So far that's what you're gonna notice right away. And other than that, when you put your knees up against the tank itself, you're gonna, I don't know, for me it feels like that this part of the tank, it feels like it was made for my leg. It kind of fits really good with your leg. It kind of just like, it looks like, it feels like it's like made to put your leg right there. So same on the other side. So those are going to be the two things that you're going to notice on the tank. And other than that, don't notice much. As you can see, it looks pretty cool right there on the sides. All right, so now let me show you what I mean with the legs. I'm going to put the camera off to the side, and you guys going to see me sit on the bike, and you're going to see what I'm talking about with the legs area. This is just for demonstration purposes. I am currently wearing shorts and gym shoes, and this is not what I use when I ride. This is just for me to show you about this location right here where your legs go on the bike. So once you're on the bike, as you can see, when you put your legs up, you can see, like, if you were to put your legs up, let's say put them up there, you can see how perfectly it fits. It like kind of like hugs your legs, so you could actually get into the position and, you know, and hug the tank. As soon as I get my tank pad covers, I'm gonna install that, and that would help me hug the tank a little bit more and give me that grip, so I could kind of get into leans and stuff. So other than that, so far over here it actually fits perfectly nice. I don't feel any discomfort of the way the tank is on the bike. Okay, so the thing I wanted to show you on the bike is that when you turn pretty much I wanted to show you the turning on the handlebars according to the tank, since the tank is a little bit wider than the original. And as you can see, this is all the way. It doesn't go any further. I mean, it's not even touching the tank, but you could see how close it is on the tank. It's pretty much, you got that much space. I mean, this is that. It doesn't go any further than that. Even if I wanted to, I'm trying to really push it. That's the stopping point. So you could see this tank just barely made it on clearance for the left turning on the handlebars. So that's pretty tight right there. I mean, can't get any closer than that. So I just wanted to show you the guys, you're not going to have any issues when you're turning your handlebars all the way to the left, nor all the way to the right. So if you were to turn the handlebars all the way to the right, you can see you got plenty of clearance over here. There is nothing touching the handlebars or the tank there. So there's plenty of clearance there. So you're okay on this side. You'll have no issues for left or right turning. All right, and lastly, I wanted to show you, I know it's dark right now, and I wanted to show you this part just in case you guys wanted to add LEDs, like I was telling you at the middle of the video on where to put LEDs on this tank. So if you were to put LEDs in the tank, this is what it would look like as soon as you install them. So I'm going to turn them on so you can see how it looks like on the tank. So here we are. So it gives a nice glow in there. Looks pretty cool, and yeah, not bad. We're going to go on this side so you guys can see both sides. Actually, let me turn off the lights over here so it's a little bit more darker. You can see the lights a little bit better. There we go. Alright, so you got a full red. In real life, it's a lot more darker red than this, what you see in the camera. So if I were to go on this side and then show you guys right there, that's pretty much like the original R1 and how it looks like with the little slits on the side, and with the LEDs it looks pretty cool. Gives a nice little lighting effect like the R1. Alright guys, so that concludes our video on how to install the R1 style tank cover for the R3. If you found this video helpful, please hit that like button. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And if you haven't yet subscribed, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button so you could get the latest notifications when I do post a video. And thanks for watching.